All right, well, the June primaries have come and gone, and ranked choice voting is here to stay at least for the next election. We're joined now by the phone by Maine Secretary of State, Matt Dunlap. Secretary, are you there?
I'm here, and I haven't had a beach day yet either, because I haven't even mowed my lawn yet. So.
If anybody deserves one, it's you and the rest of the folks that worked on this election. And Secretary Dunlap, I just got to say, did it ever feel like you were actually accomplishing history for the first time in the United States during that week and a day after the elections, during the tabulations and everything? Did that ever really feel real to you?
Not really. I mean, we were always just so focused on, the next box of ballots and the next memory stick getting downloaded or solving the next problem. We weren't really looking over the global landscape of what we were doing. And that's probably why we were as successful as we were. So we have a great crew, and they did a great job, and it worked out really well.
Now, I will say, to Secretary, you estimated it would take about a week to get the results. It took 8 days. There was a little hiccup, a little glitch at the end. Will you just tell us, for those that maybe weren't aware of what happened, what did happen to the machine?
Well, what happened on the night that we ran the tabulation, it's a little funny now. It wasn't funny at the time, but because we have all the cameras in front of us, several candidates, members of the public and legislators, and we go to run the program, and we're loading in the data sets, and all of a sudden we were getting an error message. And it turned out, in the end analysis, what it was those votes that we had to enter in by hand manually. The way we had structured the spreadsheet, the computer program didn't like the way we named things. It was about 920 votes. We were able to figure out the problem and get those properly entered in. But in the meantime, we put those aside and ran the program and got the initial result. So that was not by any means a disaster. It was just it made my heart stop for a few minutes. But I leaned over to the technician as he was trying to figure it out, and I said, just keep smiling like this is the way it's supposed to be. So
that's what happens when you make the tabulation room public. You have to try to keep a level head, which I'm sure at times felt difficult to do, as this was the first time. And let me ask you, is there anything that you learned during this first time doing the ranked choice voting process that you'll be more prepared for when we get to it in November?
Well, one of the things that we're taking away from this is what went right. And that was we had really good weather. When we do this in November, as you know, the weather in November can be a little bit unpredictable. And when we're bringing materials from 503 towns and you have a major windstorm like we had this last year or a major snowstorm out of season, those are things that we're going to want to think about in terms of our timeline. But we learned a few good lessons, but by and large, things went very, very smoothly. The computer program and the tabulating system worked very well. General Courier was a tremendous partner. The town clerks were great. So we have a lot of good things to work with going forward.
And finally, Secretary, too, we spoke with you before the primaries, and you said that it would cost probably $300,000 and change to do it this way. Did taxpayers save money during this process, or did it eventually cost us more?
Well, we stayed within our cost estimates. The really one of the big cost savings that made this possible was the courier, which came in at about a quarter of the cost of what we would have had to spend on state police without really any loss in security. So I think we learned a lot about what's possible, and I think going forward we'll be able to build on that and work with the legislature to build in some more improvement as we go forward with ranked choice voting.
Secretary Dunlap, we really appreciate you joining us today to talk about this, a history-making event for the voters and the people of Maine. But I got to tell you, if you want to save a little money, I do have my Post-its ready for November. So I'd be happy to join you guys in the tabulation.
Well, you had it perfected before we did, so we thank you for your guidance.
All right, Secretary,
Thank
appreciate
you,
your
sir.
time.